Well, we're back to the Southwest Regional NMRA Convention, which was at Flagstaff, Bearazona. We're actually driving here through Sedona.
Oh, what's some beautiful countryside.
Oh, man, that's just so pretty in and around the Flagstaff area, but Sedona, gee, it'll knocks your socks off.
Right, not exactly what you picture Arizona to be.
This week, we're actually looking at 3 different railroads in Williams, Arizona. Not too terribly far from there. Williams is a very small little town, but it has a very, very, very rich railroad history. So I guess it makes a good deal of sense that there would be a couple of different model railroads here.
Right.
What Williams is best known for is being the junction on the Santa Fe Railroad where the branch line breaks off to go to the Grand Canyon at the South Rim.
Boy, what a nice train ride this is.
It's incredible. And it's been operating essentially as a scenic railroad ever since the Santa Fe built it years and years and years ago. Because who wouldn't want to go to the South Rim of the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, right.
Now, one of the things the South Rim of the Grand Canyon is well known for is the very, very, very friendly wildlife.
Right.
They will approach you, but it's rather dangerous because these are wild animals after all.
Exactly. They got to have their head lowered.
It's kind of
Don't
intimidating.
do that. That's a good view. Okay, moving on.
Now, in all fairness, we're not actually out on the highway. We're in a wildlife park
Right.
called Bearazona.
Right.
And so there are bears.
Yes, there they are.
It's sort of like Jurassic Park with the electrified fences and the whole thing, only no dinosaurs.
No, just bears and other critters.
But they are still, after all, very wild animals.
So pay attention to the signs.
It's actually a full-blown zoo, so not only do they have the part that you can drive around in, then they have a regular zoo that you can walk around in and see the wildlife that way. And then they have this massive gift shop, and inside the massive gift shop is this very, very large HO railroad depicting the line from Williams over here all the way out to the south rim of the Grand Canyon.
That is neat. What a neat diorama.
Isn't this incredible? The railroad was built by Colonel Jim Garvey, who was one of the onboard musicians on the train. And in his free time, he spent time building this huge layout because he was very into model railroading and mostly into building miniature structures.
Oh, cool.
Currently, unfortunately, the railroad doesn't operate because they're taking up all of the track and relaying it because to be in the gift shop here, it needs to be 100% reliable.
Right.
So they've decided to replace out all of the track, some of it with hand-laid tracks soldered to circuit board ties, which is no small project.
No.
Because it's a very, very, very large railroad with a tremendous amount of track. All of the equipment here is, of course, Santa Fe, except for, well, there's a small amount of logging and mining railroad equipment here as well.
Yes.
Because, as you can see, there's a logging area here, and up here in the mountains, there's a mining district.
Oh, look at that.
But what the railroad is best known for are these amazing structures.
They are so cool.
And most of them, not all, but most of them are scratch built.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can believe it because they're so detailed.
And if you can get your nose right down in here, full interiors.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so
That's
a lot more work.
Yes, yes indeed.
This is, of course, the Williams Depot, where people would take the trains out to the Grand Canyon and where the Santa Fe used to tie up when they were delivering passengers to the Grand Canyon branch line. So, rich history and a really well-preserved building. Here's the actual building.
It's close.
Yeah,
Except for the parking lot. That's the only difference.
That's about it, and still in use.
Yes.
Now, a lot of what we're seeing here has been removed. It's no longer here. The engine shops for the locomotives and Santa Fe trains and the large roundhouse, all of this was once there and just simply no longer is. But the Colonel has chosen to model all of this, and that's a glorious thing.
Oh, it is.
And the older equipment, too. I see a rail diesel car here, an RDC and turntable. Just, it's really neat to see this really large locomotive facility at Williams.
Right.
Now, because this area is, I think it's the world's largest ponderosa pine forest.
Yeah.
And so logging has always been a principal industry in the area. And so the Colonel has modeled this great little logging area over here.
That's cool.
Isn't that pretty?
Wow.
And I love this little 30-inch gauge tramway for moving stuff around here at the logging facility.
That is neat.
And this is the mining district up in the mountains.
Right.
Also just a really fun area. But a lot of this stuff is here simply to help fill in the huge distance between Williams and the south rim of the Grand Canyon to give a little more interest to the operations as the trains make their way across this rather large layout all the way to the Grand Canyon.
We had the opportunity to ride the train out to the Grand Canyon, and oh, what an experience.
This ponderosa pine forest, you don't think of a forest.
Not in Arizona, not necessarily.
But the forest has been modeled, and here we are arriving at the south rim of the Grand Canyon, and Grand Canyon Village has been just beautifully modeled here.
That is just so cool. Look, it's El Tovar.
El Tovar, it's also accurate. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. Here's our train arriving at the station there, and there's the real El Tovar.
Isn't that neat?
That's just wonderful. I love it. It was built in the early part of the 20th century by Fred Harvey of Harvey Houses along the Santa Fe. But what a beautiful restaurant.
Right. I'm just looking at it, waiting for this green station wagon to pull up and Clark W. Griswold to make his famous appearance.
Yeah, it was featured in National Lampoon's Vacation.
Right.
Here's the Colonel's model of it. Maybe they should put the station wagon into the scene.
Oh, they could do that. What was it? The family truckster.
And just like the real hotel, it's perched precariously on the rim of the Grand Canyon.
Right. What a view!
Several thousand feet, almost straight down to the river below. And the entire Grand Canyon Village has been modeled here.
Right.
Almost all of the structures that are present in the actual Grand Canyon Village can be seen here and in their proper locations.
Right.
The train station here is a log cabin.
Right.
And that has been accurately modeled. And then the large restaurant attached to the hotel, the Harvey House here, and these gigantic verandas overlooking the Grand Canyon.
Which are really fun to sit on and look out over the Grand Canyon.
I wonder if he's done a figure anywhere in there of Teddy Roosevelt.
Maybe at his table?
Yeah, because he had his own private room here.
Right.
And they have these little descriptive plaques around the railroad explaining what the various structures are.
Right.
And a little tiny touch of their history. We also have the Bright Angel Lodge and the stables for the mules that go down into the canyons, and a couple of private residences.
Oh, cool.
Because before this became a national park, several private homes were built here in the Grand Canyon Village. And those are still there. It's just that now they're part of the national park. They're no longer used as private homes.
However, I'd still like to have a private home there.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Well, on to our next railroad, an HO scale railroad built by Mike Guinn.
This is a neat one.
Yeah, and just right near there in Williams, Arizona.
My name is Mike Guinn, and this is the Bovine and Placid Creek Railroad. On the top level, it's a HO scale layout that is set up for car, cart, and waybill operations. It's a fictional line in Arizona that connects the Southern Pacific and the Santa Fe. It runs 3 trains per session and 3 jobs, and is usually quite the headache for a lot of people. It makes it more fun.
Super. And what about the lower level?
The lower level is an 0-30 separate layout, but it's technically a branch line from the main line, and it is going up into northern Arizona into the pines and some logging and coal industries. Also 3 jobs with car carts and waybill operations.
So it's essentially 2 different model railroads, and just an upper level and a lower level, but in different scales. So it's really 2 completely different model railroads.
I always like photographing all of these different model railroads. It gives me so many ideas.
And I think I got my biggest kick out of the lower level here just because I like the larger O scale.
Right.
And of course the fact that it's narrow gauge.
Absolutely.
Although I still like standard gauge.
Oh, true. Yeah, anything that's got a smokestack and steam.
Well, we have several more railroads to show here in
Right.
Arizona
We
before we
do.
move on.
Oh, hey.
So you want to be a subscriber so that you don't miss any of this, because there's some amazing layouts coming up.
All right.
Now, the easy way to become a subscriber to the channel is by clicking on the upcoming blue button. Are you ready for that? Zoink! Right there, the blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this fun video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Tuesday. We'll see you then.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.